Hey, good morning, everyone. This is the Accreditation Audit Committee virtual meeting for December 9th, 2022. We have a pretty short agenda and a couple great programs that are all ready to go. So we should be good to go there. I'll go ahead and introduce myself, and I'll have you guys go around and introduce yourselves. I'm Dr. Melissa Diebel, and I am the academic program manager for KDE, and I will throw it over to Dr. Dieters to introduce herself.
All right, thank you. I'm Faye Dieters. I'm the chair of the teacher education program at Midway University and serve as chair of the Accreditation Audit Committee. Veronica, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Veronica Russell. I am a teacher member. I teach 6th grade reading at Pembroke Elementary in Pembroke, Kentucky, which is in Christian County Public Schools. And this is my 26th year. I'm excited about where I am now, and it's been an exciting year so far.
Tiffany, do you want to go?
Yes, good morning. I'm Tiffany Wheeler, and I'm the Education Program Director at Transylvania University. And I'm also a member of the Accreditation Audit Committee representing private institutions.
And Jennifer?
She's muted.
Oh no, maybe we lost sound and picture. All right, we'll jump over. We'll let Kim introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Kim Arrington, and I work with Melissa in educator preparation and licensure, and I look at new program submissions and continuing program reviews.
And then I know we have some guests that are here for the Transylvania group here. So we'll start with, they have their chair of their visit, Dr. Andrea Peach, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes, it's fine. I'm Andrea Peach, and I teach at Georgetown College. I'm a faculty member there, and I would say the chair of the visit at Transy.
And Cindy?
Good morning. I'm Cindy Haig at Transylvania University. I'm the Education Certification Specialist and Accreditation Data Manager.
Perfect. Jennifer, any luck yet with sound?
Me, Jennifer?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Sorry, there's oftentimes more than one of us on a call. Hi, Jennifer Faye Williams, Interim Associate Dean at the University of Louisville. I just had some skin cancer thing done to my nose, so I apologize now that my camera's working, that I'm a little bit of an eyesore, but yeah, new to this committee this year.
Well, thank you all. And oh, we have another person coming in. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
We just did introductions, so you got in just in time.
Oh, great.
So, Amy, are you with the Transylvania team?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yep.
Okay. I'm not used to this format, so I need to make sure.
Okay. Well, that's what we have. So, going through our agenda, I'll let Dr. Dieters kind of take the lead here, and I'll just pop in and speak if I need to.
All right, thank you, Melissa. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We're going to start off with the approval of minutes from the June 15, 2022 meeting. Hopefully you had a chance to read through those. So we need a motion to approve them.
I move to approve those.
Thank you, Tiffany. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Veronica. Did anyone see any needed corrections on the minutes from the June meeting? Didn't either. I read through them and I didn't see anything. It's been a while though. Hard to remember. All right, well then I'll go ahead and call for the vote for the committee members. And Melissa, I need to go person by person, or can I just do on this one since we're on?
I think you can just do it generally.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I think that was everyone. But just in case, is anybody opposed? All right, I didn't think so. All right, thank you. Minutes from June meeting are approved. Melissa, would you like us to go ahead and set the date for the June 2023 meeting, or would you like us to do that at the end since we have the Transy folks in already?
We can do that at the end. And
okay,
right now we don't have an agenda item, but I thought with this meeting we had some come up, so we'll set it. But
okay, perfect. All right, thank you. All right, well then we will go ahead and move on over to the review of Transylvania University, state-only review. And so we will start by asking Dr. Peach, our site visit chair, to give her report.
Thank you. I'm going to read this, just makes it a little easier for me. So our Cape/State joint visit, it wasn't a Cape visit, it was a state visit, I'm sorry, to Transylvania University took place virtually. Jessica Evans, Alyssa Ayers, Janine Huss, Sean Faulkner, and Susan Rose served on the team, and Sharon Salzman was our OELE consultant. And I just don't think we could have had a better team. We had a wonderful team that appeared and was with us the whole time. Dr. Tiffany Wheeler, Cindy Haig, and other education faculty, you were wonderful hosts. And along with the arts and science faculty, staff, and the university administration, provided the team with everything we needed during the trip. The team would also like to express our thanks to their tireless efforts to make this trip so productive and seamless. So I call it a trip, even though it was virtual. I was actually in Lexington, but I didn't get to go to campus, obviously, because of the fact that it was a virtual trip. But anyhow, the team also wants to affirm Dr. Wheeler's leadership and transparency. So many times we heard from others how Dr. Wheeler, along with the rest of the faculty and staff, of course, have been involved in positive ways across campus and in the community. We're so very appreciative of the hard work completed by Cindy Haig, who keeps up with all the data and administrative tasks for the department. Thank you so much for your great work and keeping up with all the requirements, the data, the folders, and for being there for your students and faculty. The team was also very appreciative of the faculty for their long hours and attention to the continuous improvement efforts of their department and for their willingness to meet with us and share insights. It was clear from the comments heard during the interviews that they all truly care about the students and that they, along with all of the faculty and staff throughout campus, provide a high quality educational experience. So I personally think everybody in the education department at Transy are rock stars. And it's my privilege to get to know them and others in the institution better through this process. So during the visit, the team interviewed faculty, staff, and university administration, as well as current candidates, alumni, school, and community partners. These interactions allowed the team to verify the well-prepared evidence provided by the EPP. The team acknowledged that an overall strength of Transylvania's program is exceptional personal attention to candidate development. Candidates that we met seemed very well prepared to work in diverse school contexts. Clinical experiences seemed well aligned with theoretical knowledge embedded in courses. The EPP seems to have a robust relationship with their school partners, and partners spoke of candidates being willing to immediately engage with P-12 students and faculty and ready to go on the first day. So since this was a state-only team, the team members made recommendations regarding the standards met or not met. And we also wanted to give them some affirmations from what we saw. So these were the comments made by the team and the standards and whether they were met. And I'll just go on and say all standards were met. We had no AFIs, no stipulations. So for standard 1, there was a strong emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion in instructional practice that is carried throughout multiple courses in the program. For standard 2, there were long-standing collaborative partnerships that support the development of the candidate's knowledge and skills in a variety of settings. For standard 3, teacher candidates' progress is monitored throughout the program. GPA and dispositions of teacher candidates is collected at the multiple phases of the teacher education program. Standard 4, completers and the employers who hire them report satisfaction with the preparation programs at Transy. And once hired, the completers appear to have a positive impact on P12 student learning. And standard 5, the quality assurance system represents a strong plan and intent. I also worked with Ms. Salzman to identify all the regulatory requirements during the visit. At the exit session, I outlined the EPSB accreditation and program approval procedures, and I also continued to work with Dr. Wheeler to complete the process and the various reports. So once again, I want to personally thank Dr. Wheeler, Ms. Haig, and the other education and college faculty, staff, administration, and for everything they did to make this trip so very productive. And I want to congratulate Transylvania University on meeting all standards. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you, Andrea. Okay, Dr. Wheeler, will you be speaking for Transy?
Yes, I will.
All right, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you then.
Okay. First, I'd like to thank Dr. Andrea Peach, who was an incredible leader of our site visits. She and the other team members, and those other team members include Dr. Susan Rose, Dr. Sean Faulkner, Dr. Janine Huss, Dr. Jessica Evans, Dr. Alyssa Ayers, and of course our state consultant, Ms. Sharon Salzman. I have to agree with Dr. Peach that the team was excellent. And they displayed such a wonderful sense of professionalism and provided a lot of thoughtful feedback that we have continued to refer back to for our continuous improvement. But Dr. Peach was just incredible. I really appreciated the fact that she met with us, daily, debriefed with us about, the process was fair. And it was, and it was a virtual visit. So that was a little bit different, of course, from previous visits, but her leadership certainly made it go very smoothly. So I'm very appreciative of that. And so we're pleased with the visit and of course the visit results. I did want to talk about a few highlights, about our program, particularly since the visit. And Melissa, do you mind to share the presentation? She's going to share just a presentation that we came up with. Okay. Okay. All right. And so if we can go to the next slide. Okay. So just a little bit about Transylvania University. I think it's interesting background. We were founded in 1780, so we've been around for a while. We were the first college west of the Allegheny Mountains. And in its early years, Transylvania included a school of medicine, a law school, and a seminary, as well as a college of arts and sciences. And so today, Transylvania, affectionately known as Transy, is a distinguished liberal arts college located in Lexington, Kentucky, with an enrollment of approximately 1,000 undergraduate students. And it's important to note that Transylvania, as an institution, does not currently offer any advanced or graduate programs. And I think there might have been another bullet. And then Transylvania is a highly residential campus. So 92% of first-year students live on campus and 76% of all students live on campus. Okay. And so we're very connected to Transylvania's mission as a liberal arts institution. And so Transy's mission statement is, through an engagement with the liberal arts, Transylvania University prepares its students for a humane and fulfilling personal and public life by cultivating independent thinking, open-mindedness, creative expression, and commitment to lifelong learning and social responsibility in a diverse world. Transylvania believes that all students, no matter what career or vocation they choose, benefit from a liberal education, and we certainly espouse that in our EPP. And so we have our own EPP mission, and so our EPP mission rests on the conviction that ultimately The purpose of schooling is to enable individuals to find meaning for their lives, meaning that leads to an understanding of the interconnectedness of all living beings. And then a second premise that we really take to heart is the fact that all human beings are meaning seekers. We're all trying to learn, to discover, to create, and we're all functioning as members of social groups. And of course, we need to learn how to make informed choices. So for us, schooling is about how to make a life. And then, so what we try to do is to prepare elementary, middle, and secondary teachers who are liberally educated and recognized for their expertise in knowing their subject matter, in thinking reflectively and enacting responsibly in their school and communities. And so we also want them to be caring leaders of learning who see their students as meaning seekers and themselves as transformative intellectuals who care about ideas, policies, and other human beings. In a word, they are public intellectuals who care. And our students will tell you that in every syllabus that they have and all of our course documents and really all of our classes, we spend a lot of time talking about what it means to be a public intellectual who cares. And so just a brief overview of our EPP structure. Transylvania has 4 academic divisions: fine arts, humanities, natural sciences, and mathematics and social sciences. And so at the education program, we don't have our own separate division. We're part of the humanities division. And we currently have 3 full-time faculty members and 1 staff member in the education program. Myself, I introduced myself. Dr. Amy Maupin, Associate Professor of Education, who's on the call, Dr. Amy Rector-Aranda, Visiting Assistant Professor of Education, and then you met Ms. Cindy Haig, Education Certification Specialist and Data Manager for Accreditation. And the EPP programs that we offer, again, we are only preparing candidates for initial certification. And so we offer initial teacher certification in the following 12 majors and areas: elementary education, middle grades education. We also have an education minor for secondary certification, because at Transylvania, the students who want to teach at the secondary level or high school level, they pursue a full major in the subject area. And the areas that we offer are biology, chemistry, English, mathematics, physics, and social studies. And so if they're going to pursue social studies certification, for example, they have to major in history. But all of these different major areas, they get the education minor for secondary certification. And then we have 12 grades education, and we offer that where they're certified across all the grade levels in art and French and music and Spanish. So those are the programs that we offer at Transylvania. So we just wanted to go over a few highlights since our accreditation visit. We know a lot of times for this particular presentation to the AAC, some EPPs will talk about, improvements that have been made, particularly in relationship to some of the AFIs and stipulations that were noted in the site visit. We didn't have any of those. But we did want, obviously, we are always about continuous improvement. And so we did want to talk about just a few highlights of things that we have been involved with since the accreditation visit, which took place in March 2022, March 6th through 8th. So recruitment, which relates to CAPE Standard R 3.1 of candidates. You probably saw in our accreditation documents in Standard 3 and some of our supporting materials that we had a pretty, well developed recruitment plan, and really been focusing on that over the last several years. And so we are pleased to say, even though there's a teacher shortage and we know there's been a decline in enrollment in EPPs across the state and the nation, we have seen a 77% increase in the total number of candidates from May 2022 to fall 2022, because we had a large number of students to apply this fall to the education program. We're very excited about that. And also, one new thing that we did that we're really proud of is that we had an induction ceremony in May 2022 in order to uplift our students. Of course, as you all know, they're hearing a lot of rhetoric negative rhetoric about teaching and those kinds of things. And so we wanted to uplift them and support and celebrate their decision to become educators. So we had an induction ceremony, and we kind of refer to it as our education white coat ceremony, except the white coats were red education t-shirts. But for our students who were admitted to the program last year, they were our first inductees. And so we gave them a red t-shirt that is a Transylvania Education Program t-shirt. We had our beloved Professor Emeritus, Dr. Angela Hurley, as the inspirational speaker about why they should choose to teach. We had our president, Brian Lewis of Transy, to give remarks. We had food, and it was just a wonderful celebration. It was very, very well received. And a lot of the first year students who were interested in education and in our early education classes, they attended that ceremony. And so many of those who attended ended up applying this fall to the program, which was great. So we are definitely going to continue that new tradition. It was very well received. And even students are already asking about, the ones who are being admitted this year are asking about it. So we're thrilled with that. And that's a big part. That also, factors into our recruitment. We hold campus information sessions regularly about our program to, just help students understand what we have to offer. We are participating currently with the Grow Your Own initiative with Fayette County Public Schools, focusing on the teaching and learning pathways in the local high schools. We already have a partnership with Frederick Douglass High School and their teaching and learning pathway, but we are working with Lori Bowen and others at the district. And so we are going to involve other teaching and learning pathways into campus a visit when they come to Transylvania next semester and spend the day with us and learn all about our campus and that kind of thing. We've also attended a fall festival for another teaching and learning pathway and invited students to come sit in on our classes. And we had some students to take us up on that. So we're really focusing a lot on that. And then we revived our Kentucky Education Association Aspiring Educators group on campus, and that is promoting a lot of interest in education. Students are excited about the organization, and we have had some KEA consultants and that kind of thing to come in. They're also helping. We're going to work with them in the future on planning workshops related to educator ethics, classroom management, and those kinds of things. So, and some of our students attended the KEA conference this fall and are excited about the ideas that they learned there. So that's recruitment has probably been our major focus and continues to be recruitment and retention as well. Another important focal point for our program is preparing culturally responsive educators. And so when you looked over our accreditation documents, we had several transition plans because there's certain components of standards that are in transition. So in our transition plan for standard R1.2, which focuses on content, we had stated that we were planning to create a diversity, equity, and inclusion instrument for all candidates to complete as a pre and post assessment for the EPP. And so we actually consulted with Dr. Deidre Denny, who is our Transylvania Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, but she's also a stakeholder and she's a member of our Teacher Education Advisory Board. And she recommended that we use the intercultural development inventory with our students. And so the IDI is a valid and reliable cross-cultural assessment of intercultural competence that's theory-based and developmental. And so our first cohort of students who are current juniors, and they were admitted at the end of last year, they took the IDI in September of this year, and Dr. Denny met with them and talked about their results and that kind of thing. And if we can go to the next slide. The IDI indicates where candidates fall along a continuum of cultural orientations that range from more monocultural mindsets through more global and intercultural mindsets. And so the IDI produces what's called an intercultural development plan that guides candidates through a series of activities and self-reflections that build intercultural competence. And so Dr. Denny, as well as those of us on the EPP faculty, will be checking in periodically with the current cohort of candidates about their progress, and they'll be assessed again near the end of their senior year. So they'll kind of have 2 full years to kind of move along this continuum, and then we'll see, how it works from there. But really the goal of using this instrument with our candidates is just to help them become more culturally responsive and inclusive educators. And so our courses incorporate, like I said, all of our courses focus on culturally responsive education and diversity and equity and inclusion, even courses related to teaching mathematics and teaching science and all of these kinds of things. But we feel like the IDI will provide additional insight and support to our candidates as they prepare to work with culturally diverse students and families. And I was really pleased in one of the courses that I teach, one of my students was making connections between her IDI results and what she had learned about herself and what we were doing in class and the ways that she wanted to grow in her intercultural competence. So we're already seeing some positive aspects of that. And then if we can go to the next slide, then another highlight I just wanted to mention, of course, in our standard R4.1 completer effectiveness transition plan, in our accreditation documents, you saw that we did implement some case studies during our last accreditation cycle. And so we're in the process of reinstating our next cycle of case studies to help determine completer effectiveness. We conducted a full cycle, with 2 completers in spring 2019. We began another cycle with different completers in spring 2020, but they were halted due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and then just due to a variety of circumstances and challenges for both the EPP and completers. In fact, our original completers who we started with in 2020, they made changes in their, they started, families, and then, had children and stayed home with their children and that kind of thing. So we kind of had to regroup. And then just a reduction of staffing in our EPP. We've dealt with a lot of staffing reductions in the last couple of years. And of course, case studies are very time intensive. So we were unable to resume the case studies in 2021, but we do plan to conduct a case study, and we've been, making plans for it this fall. And so we are planning to conduct a case study in spring 2023 with 2 completers, this time with an elementary and a middle grades. We always, when we're doing the case studies, we want to make sure that our completers are representative of our, our completers that come out of our program. So, the most graduates we typically have are elementary. So we will have another elementary completer, but the last time we had an elementary and a high school secondary completer. This time we're going to have an elementary and a middle grades who are in their first 3 years of teaching. So that's our plan. So those are just a few highlights, certainly not exhaustive list of everything that we've been involved with, but. And then this last slide is just really meant to show some quotes from our EPP completer surveys. Annually, every year, we send out surveys to our completers where they can give feedback about their preparation, their satisfaction with our preparation, all of that kind of thing. And these were just some quotes that we pulled out. I'm not going to read them verbatim or anything like that, but I wanted you just to be able to see some of the things that come from our completer surveys and how some of our candidates feel about their preparation. So are there any questions?
Thank you. I probably should have asked that after Dr. Peach presented as well, but does anybody have questions for Dr. Wheeler or Dr. Peach? I just want to say that I loved your ideas, and I'm probably going to steal some. So
have at it. That's what education is all about.
I know, right? I like what you're doing. Yeah, that's great. All right. If we don't have any questions, then we will move on to the voting sheet for Transylvania University. And if everyone is ready for that, our first question on the voting sheet is, did the site visitors follow approved guidelines when conducting the visit? And our vote options are yes or no. And I will just go through the list and call on folks. Tiffany doesn't need to recuse herself on every individual vote, right? She can just recuse herself at the beginning. Is that correct, Melissa?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I didn't think it would be necessary for her to say that every time. All right, thank you. So I'll start with Jennifer.
Sorry, what are the two choices? Official?
Did the site visitors follow approved guidelines when conducting the visit? Yes or no?
Yes. I wasn't sure it was approved. Yes.
Thank you.
Not to make anyone sweat. I just want to make sure I was using the correct word.
Yes.
The pressure of
Okay.
going first.
Yes, I know, Jennifer. I'm so sorry. Usually it's Danny, but she's not here today. So, Jennifer, I called on, and I also vote yes. Susan's not here today. Is that correct?
Correct. They had a graduation today.
That's what I thought. Okay, so Veronica.
Yes.
And then Tiffany.
I'm recused, right?
Well, you hadn't officially stated that yet, I don't think, right?
Oh,
We
okay.
said
You have
earlier
to
that you
state
would
that.
be.
Okay, do I need to state that now? Okay,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm recused. I recuse myself.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, and that is everyone. So 3 yeses. Our second question for the committee is, does the AAC agree with the areas for improvement or stipulations identified in the site visit report? And keep in mind that they did not have any. So if you agree that they should not have any, then the response is yes. If you think they should have had something, then the response would be no. And so Jennifer, I'm gonna start with you again.
Yes.
Okay, I also vote yes. And then Veronica.
Yes.
Thank you. And Tiffany is recused. Okay, we'll move on to voting on the standards at this point. And so our options for votes on the standards are met with AFIs or stipulations, which would not be an option since we voted that we agree that they shouldn't have any, or not met. So really met or not met. And I'm gonna start with Jennifer.
Met.
Thank you. I also agree that they were met. And then Veronica.
Met.
Thank you. Okay, on standard 2, clinical partnerships and practice, met or not met, Jennifer?
Met.
Okay, I also vote met. And Veronica?
Met.
Thank you. Okay, standard 3, candidate quality, recruitment and selectivity, Jennifer?
Met.
Okay, I also vote met. And Veronica?
Met.
Thank you. Standard 4, program impact, Jennifer?
Met.
Thank you. I also vote met. Veronica?
Met.
Thank you. And on standard 5, the last standard, Jennifer?
Met.
Probably should have said that's provider quality assurance and continuous improvement.
I'm working on that one right now. My own
Thank you.
institution.
Yes, me too. All right. I also vote met. And then Veronica?
Met.
Thank you. All right. Let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Okay, and then on our next vote is for accreditation with conditions or accreditation with probation. Jennifer?
Accreditation.
Okay, I also vote for accreditation. Veronica?
Accreditation.
Thank you. Okay, and then on the programs, keep in mind that Transy only had the undergraduate programs, which Tiffany outlined for us on the slide earlier in the presentation. And so we are making a recommendation for on a program by program basis for approval of the initial undergraduate programs. Jennifer. It's approval with conditions, or denial.
Approval.
Thank you. I also vote for approval. And then Veronica?
Approval.
Great. And that concludes our voting. So Transylvania, congratulations on a great job with
Thank
your
you so much.
accreditation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and we will move on in the agenda. Our next item, and I guess the folks from the Transy Review are excused at this point. So thank you for being with us today, though. We appreciate your time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Great work.
Yeah. Have a great
Congratulations.
Christmas.
Thanks.
Are we good to go on? Yeah. All right. Our next item on the agenda is for program approval of the initial and advanced programs for Asbury University. So the first question on our vote sheet is for continuing program approval. And so our options are, again, it is on a program by program basis for both initial and advanced programs for Asbury. Our options are approval, approval with conditions, or denial of approval. And I'm going to start with Jenny again.
Approval.
Thank you. I also vote for approval. Veronica.
Approval.
Thank you. And Tiffany.
Approval.
Thank you. That is all for approval. Good job, Asbury. And that concludes our program review and accreditation voting for today. And so our last item that we'll need to return to would be setting the date for the June 2023 meeting. Melissa, do you want to toss out any dates, or you just want us to kind of look and see, or how would you like to?
I don't know, has it traditionally been on the 15th, or was that just because that was a Monday?
No, it hasn't necessarily been on the 15th. It's been around that time, but it really depends on what everybody's days, I think, look like at that point. That's what we've usually looked at, to be honest.
Well,
but
I know
usually about that time.
Yeah, I think sometime the week, the 12th to the 16th, somewhere in there. Does that work for everyone?
I am not available on the first couple of days of that week.
For the 12th and 13th.
Yeah, I'm actually
So
out
we
of the
should probably-
country, and I don't have my ticket yet. So for sure, the 12th and 13th are out.
Okay,
Later in that
should
week
look
is
toward the
great.
end of the week. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have
That's
my
just me,
vacation planned yet because I don't have time to plan a vacation.
Well, my
But
whole
I'm
life.
gonna have one.
Same,
I just don't know when. So,
Faye, you want to come with me? I'm going to
Yes.
Nepal with a math team.
Nice.
Oh my
It's
God.
like a life
Okay, I would
dream.
be
It's a
totally
life dream to go to
useless.
Nepal, and there's a math group going for 2 weeks, and we get back on the trip ends on the 12th. I don't even know what that means because you lose a day and all that. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'll be.
How that translates. I would totally go with you, but I would be completely useless. I'm a numbers person. I mean, a letters person, not a numbers person. So now, with that said, I work with numbers all the time for accreditation. So I guess I can convert. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I get to go
Sounds
visit 2 of
lovely,
the
though.
institutions there. So looking for
Nice.
partnerships and things like that. So I'm super excited.
Oh, that
That's
would be
wonderful.
neat. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all want to go with you now.
Yeah, we
right?
do.
Well, I'm good.
Exactly.
They're like, and Jenny, do you want to bring somebody with you? And I'm like, oh, yes, I do. Let me think.
So now I have to bring 5 somebodies.
Yeah, 5.
I'll be taking requests.
Yeah, exactly. So what does it look for everybody else like on Thursday or Friday of that week?
I'm not sure about, we haven't set dates for summer school or anything yet. And oddly enough, one of my students that I had last summer stopped me. Now, are we going to come back to summer school again? I said, well, I'm not sure, baby. We're going to talk to the principal about that a little bit later. So,
Yeah.
but I should be open as far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be okay with me as far as I know right now.
Right.
Toward the
I
end
mean,
of
it's
that
so
week.
far out.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Toward the end of that week. Should we, what day is typically better for folks? Thursday or Friday?
Thursday's better
Make
for
care.
me.
Yeah, Thursday probably.
I was going to say, okay. I like that too. All right. So let's tentatively look, and that is the 15th. This is how we
Yes.
always land there. So, Thursday the 15th sounds good, and then, yeah, I'm good for that day too. as far as I
at
know.
9 a.m.
I was supposed to-
Eastern.
Yeah, that's great.
And like I said, at this point, we don't have any, there were no accreditations this year.
Oh,
So yeah, so we don't have any of those. We might have some program stuff, but I don't know that. It depends on how the new system. We'll probably have some. Well, no, we wouldn't approve them until their accreditation's done. So we may not have anything for the June agenda, but I will.
so
let you
okay,
guys
a
know.
question on that then, since you brought that up, because we do have some programs that we're bringing forward. So the process right now would be we have obviously our code already, but we're working on our documents. But the PART committee would look at that, and then we could go ahead and start our program in lieu of until we get to accreditation, right? Because that's the way it's been in the past.
Yeah,
that
we've
not the
always
case?
done. We do. So the program review process is changing a little bit, and Kim's on here,
Yeah.
who oversees that, so she might be able to offer us some more ideas. But typically, I think they approve those about a year to 8 months before your accreditation, and then but we don't actually vote on them until after your accreditation's done.
Right.
So they give you temporary
Right.
approval. But Kim,
Okay.
is that timeline different now? Oh, Kim?
Hey,
I can-
yeah.
I can hear you clicking, but
no.
I can't hear you.
I'm having trouble. I guess it's my internet connection is slow, and I'll click on something and nothing happens. But no, you're correct. That timeline, we do approve it, and it's contingent upon accreditation, but you're allowed to go on and put things in motion and get your program started. So
Yeah, it's a temporary approval for that year while you're doing accreditation. But we as the AAC doesn't vote on it until after. So we wouldn't have anything on our agenda since
or
there have been
anybody
no,
unless they had gone through. Yeah.
And so
since
you're
we
saying,
didn't have accreditations this year, I don't think we will have anything come up because we didn't have any groups going through in fall, and then we had one that was in spring that has been given a year extension, and so we won't have anybody going through accreditation this year. So I don't actually anticipate we'll need the June meeting, but we're going to set it in case anything comes up.
right. And I guess because with the new regulations then and with the national, people that have the national certificate or the accreditation, then that does reduce our business a bit because we're only looking at state only and then program approvals for everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And I know we have 3 coming up that will do their CAPE accreditation and AQUIP. Well, our first AQUIP accreditation next fall.
Okay.
So we will have, next year will be a busy year.
Yes.
The other question that has come up is whether we need to hold the meetings in December and June, or if we could hold them earlier or later. So that's something you guys can think about. And, because there's nothing in regulation that says when the meetings have to take place. So, they've been doing this consistently for a long time, but that I know was brought to me as a question. And so something we can consider.
In thinking about that, Melissa, help me with the timeline. So the accreditation committee for CAPE meets in October and April. Because we would need to wait for them to go through that and be accredited. Are we typically looking at the fall people in December, or is that in spring when we actually get around to looking at those folks? And then same thing for spring. Is it fall before we get around to looking at them?
Yep.
So it really doesn't. Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. I was like, if we have to get the fall people in December, then our timeline would be a little more dictated, but sounds like it could be wide open, right?
Well, and it'll be a little different because this came up actually with Transylvania's, because their stuff was all ready. We could have voted on them in June. And so the only reason that we've had to have the lag time is because of CAPE and when they have their meetings. But with AQUIP, they want to follow more of the state process. So they might have their stuff earlier. So if a group is ready, we'll put them on our agenda and vote for them when they're ready. Great. And so, that'll be, I think, a change. But then it also helps, Transylvania did their I mean, it's been almost a year.
Yeah, and I love that we have the flexibility to do that, because that is so weird, because you get through accreditation and you'll have like a whole another year before you get voted on, and so you're kind of just in limbo. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
That's how we felt, because it's been 9 months since the visit, and it's like, and
Yeah.
and so now this recommendation, so hopefully we'll be voted on by the EPSB in February. Is that the goal?
Yes.
Okay.
But see, if we could have had it all done in August.
Right. Because
So-
we had our stuff. Yeah, that would have been
And-
nice.
And AQUIP has said they're going to mimic that process that we have, where
Okay.
everything should be ready. And they anticipate that we would be able to vote on their fall in December and their
Great.
spring in June. So, it may just be that there'll be CAPE institutions are slightly off of
Mhm.
when we vote for them, but we don't see why we would make a group wait if we have everything that we need to move
Right.
forward.
Yeah.
So I think we'll do that. And then potentially, if needed, look at if we need to hold more than 2 meetings or something, if there were a need, just to kind of prevent schools from having to wait so long.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, but yeah, just some questions that came up when we were talking about specifically Transylvania, how everything was ready and why we didn't put you on in June. So, but yeah, I think everything will be, we're going to kind of see how we can manipulate things to make them fit better into timelines, so people get their letters a little earlier.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
well, I know, and I know I've mentioned this to Todd already, and I think probably you too, Melissa, but yeah, the timing is absolutely horrible for December.
It
It
is.
really is horrible.
It is.
And I was just so happy that Transy had done such a good job with all of their stuff, because it made reviewing theirs a lot faster. And wow, I mean, because it's a lot at this time of the year.
Something that we can consider in June. So maybe that we have a quick June meeting just to set the date, but we also could meet at the beginning of January and even mid-January, and I'd still have time to do the staff notes for a February meeting. So if that timing works better, we can definitely look at shifting it, because this is a really hard time for everybody doing finals and grading and meetings and, so in June, if we want to set that next meeting, if you want to think we can move it up, we can move it back. We have some flexibility. It doesn't have to be December.
Okay. And one year we did have to move it to January because we weren't going to have quorum or something in December one time. And so we did it in early to mid-January, and it worked okay. But like you said, it might be that we do it in November sometime, depending on the timeline. So we'll just, okay.
Yeah, I think either, if we can just avoid the last week or two of the semester and the first week or two of the semester, it would be really helpful. And I know
That's true.
Veronica, in the school systems, the dates are a little bit different for them. So we have to keep that in mind too.
Right. Some days, I mean, the general timing for the meetings has been okay. Like this time, it comes when it's like in between. It's not really busy. June has been fine because it's usually if it's summer school, but I have a little flexibility. So it's been okay for me for these last couple of meetings.
Okay.
All right. So something to think about. So we might have a quick meeting in June and kind of talk about those things and make those decisions. Okay.
Yeah. So start thinking about dates, even if in June, if we want to look at the following year, doing it, Veronica, in May, like between when you guys let out and when, before you start summer school, if there's a window, the only thing is the CAPE, the CAPE decisions don't come out till the end of April. So, I mean, but you guys, essentially, there's not a lot to review with the CAPE decisions, right? You look at their program approval letter, you look at their report. So it really doesn't take a lot of time.
Theirs is pretty quick.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, and we don't have any state only for quite a while because we kind of just had a whole bunch of them.
That's true. Yes.
All right. Well, we will close the meeting. Is there anything else? All right. Well, I appreciate you guys being patient as I learned this. Well, it's like, I was like, okay, I made it through June. We're going to make it through December. And then December, I don't know. I'll get this down sometime.
You're fine.
All your patience.
It's all fine.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.
Congrats again, Tiffany.